You're watching a new way of being hosted by Avatar Galextra and Andraggon on Facebook
or in this case, on YouTube
Live.
Live.
Okay, you started.
Well,
Since you have an agenda,
yes, we do. We are the homeless family of two whistleblowers who are continuing to sound the alarm about the sacred and stolen technology being used on this planet today to create the international health crisis that has engulfed the entire surface of Lady Gaia for about 6 months. And it is a technology that has vast fourth dimension capabilities that does not belong on this planet, that is in the hands of the American military, who have been using it to commit an international
crisis.
silent holocaust across this planet for over 8 decades now. This technology has been used for the past 4 decades or more to attack, assault, persecute, and terrorize Avatar Galextra and their family members for over 4 decades now. It's been used to kill about 5 members of her family, to take the Avatar's mortal life at least 16 different times so far, according to some of the members of the Committee of Gods, sister and brother gods. It's been used to try to kill our daughter at birth, try to kill the Avatar at birth, myself on 3 different occasions. And this technology, which has vast fourth dimension capabilities, it allows human beings, agents of the American and the Canadian governments, to create cloaks of invisibility, allows them to morph the human body to look like shadows in the fourth dimension, and allows them to flash through our fourth dimension and invade and occupy any space or place inside our three-dimensional world, our homes, places of work, worship, and attack and commit any kind of crime against human beings from any part of life on this planet today. Specifically, we're sounding the alarm and we're ringing the bell to issue a call to action and a wake-up call for every adult member on the face of Lady Gaia today to become aware of the presence of this technology, which is being used today to in, to infect the bodies of over 30 million human beings and kill over 1 million of them today by agents who are doing so unseen from inside the fourth dimension. This family of two whistleblowers who have the distinction of being, in this case, the avatar is the God who lived as Lord Jesus, as Lord Buddha, as Lord Krishna over the past 552 years on this planet. And myself, her husband, who lived as a renowned theoretical physicist named Albert Einstein. So we're sounding the alarm as a homeless family of whistleblowers living inside the city of Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, for about 8 months now, since we were unjustly and unfairly evicted from a place of residence located at 251 Scott Street in St. Catharines. This is the 12th motel we have been sheltering inside of, struggling to pay our expenses, struggling to find meals to eat, being terrorized by the same criminals who are now killing thousands of human beings across the surface of this planet from inside the fourth dimension, and doing so in deceitful and deceptive ways that have caused your scientists and your disciples of science to mistakenly and incorrectly misidentify the nature of this disease that is now killing and infecting the bodies of many human beings today. So we are sounding this alarm to every human being on this planet today that this holocaust being committed against them is being led by the ringleader of this group of American gangsters who is inside the White House today, serving as the most unfit, unqualified, incompetent, vulgar, sexist, racist, egotistical man-child, conman in chief, and dictator in training known as Donald J. Trump. He continues to come to our home. He teleports himself into our home from where he is within the twinkle of an eye with a technology that
He used to rape our daughter.
is using this technology along with Prime Minister Trudeau to rape our daughter one night in her bedroom in late November in, in the fall of last year inside her bedroom, and they forced her to be silenced, prevented her from screaming out by blocking her mouth using uh, blocking her mouth to prevent her from calling out to us to let us know that she was being raped by two unseen human beings. The same technology that we're telling you about was used to kill, to assassinate the one of the most responsible, virtuous, caring, talented, generous human being to ever walk the face of this planet. The one who lived as Michael Jackson, who's also the one who was known as the forgot his name. They used this technology to kill our brother Michael Jackson. As he told me, the American government used the same technology that is now being used to kill, to infect, and kill the bodies of over a million human beings today. They used it to take his life and did so, as he told me, during one of the dozens of hours of interviews I had the opportunity to, conversations I was given the opportunity to have with him by the Avatar, who's also one of the most finely tuned and natural mediums living on the planet today. He told me, Andraggon, as I hovered above, they killed me while I was sleeping, and as I hovered above my lifeless body, as I hovered up above the ceiling, as I hovered up near the ceiling, watching these two shadows giving each other a high five after they realized that they had taken my mortal life from me. So the narrative being put out there by the scientists about a virus that is infectious, contagious, and one which came from the animal species and jumped into the human genome, that is a narrative that is deceiving, deceptive, incorrect, and misleading. The ones who are actually spreading this disease and infecting the bodies of tens of millions of human beings so far today and killing over a million of our human brothers and sisters are doing so by moving through the fourth dimension inside their cloaks of invisibility, and they are implanting substance that is created by the human body in amounts of 1 to 1.5 liters, a substance called mucus, which they use this sacred, futuristic, and stolen technology to poison and contaminate before they implant or put it inside the bodies of human beings through their mouth, nostril, ears, and so on. So it's crucial that human beings today start to connect the dot that there is no virus that is infecting and causing them to become ill and causing over 1 million of them to die so far today. As the Avatar told me during the week of, during the last week of February of 2019, Black History Month, was told me, Andragon, there is no virus killing human beings today. Actually, a substance, as I told you, called mucus that is being contaminated and poisoned before these unseen group of government criminals infect it or implant it inside the bodies of human beings today. This technology, the presence of a technology on this planet today that allows human beings to move around the planet in, uh, in the twinkling of an eye and invade and occupy any place or space that they choose means that the human race has been stripped and robbed of their rights and freedoms to have their privacy, security, and safety be protected and guaranteed for over 8 decades now. The Avatar saw this, the Avatars, and as I told you, the ringleader of this group of, I call them parasites, diabolical beings, is the one in the White House who today is trying to steal the election for a second time and is willing to do anything to say and do anything and everything he can to remain in that position so that he can put in place a dictatorship of an American kind and establish himself as that nation's leader for not just 1 or 2 or 3 terms, but for as long as he's able to establish the kind of dictatorship inside the nation that views itself today as the defender and protector of democracies and freedoms and rights of human beings. The Avatar saw Donald J. Trump one night when she was getting off her bed inside a bedroom in the city of St. Catharines, coming up on the bed, and she accidentally touched the shoulders of an unseen, the unseen assassin who keeps invading our home on a daily, nightly basis. And as she told me, when she accidentally touched the shoulder of this unseen human being, it felt said that it was a synthetic body. Uh, that the body felt like a synthetic material that was lined with a silicone substance. And as soon as this unseen criminal, the self-announced the leader of this group of government assassins attacking the human race today, as soon as he realized that she had touched his shoulder, he pulled away out of her third eyesight, and so that she wouldn't be able to get more information from him about his presence in her home and what he was wearing. Another occasion, and I will bring the Avatar back to continue the show. So, and I will continue because it's important to get this information out to you, the people. So after she touched the shoulder of this unseen criminal, she saw that he was wearing something that we've come to call a cloak of invisibility, made of a synthetic texture lined with a silicone substance. On another occasion, when we were walking from our home at 251 Scott Street towards Fairview Mall, she was spraying around herself back and forth because we use vinegar to keep these criminals from staying inside every place we live because it has certain acidic properties that apparently don't want to have sprayed on their bodies. So after a period of walking for about 10 minutes and spraying around her, he turned and looked behind her, and suddenly someone appeared out of the blue who was not there before. No one was inside before. And she saw that he was a Caucasian man, middle age or older, and there was some kind of veil, dark or gray veil that was um, uncloaking from around his body. He had decloaked the body of this unseen government assassin. When she did, and she saw him, she looked at him and apologized for spraying him with that vinegar. And he continued to walk and walk past us, went to further down to the gas station to where his vehicle was, and then went into it and continued on his way. This technology, we've seen it being used as well inside our home. One day when the avatar was sitting with me, getting ready to do a show, this was in the summer of last year, she had a dinner bell in her hand and she was ringing it around her head to see if what her daughter had told her was true, that there were people who were invading her body as if they're Trojan horses or controlling her mind and body as if she is a Manchurian candidate. So to find out if this was true, the avatar rang this bell around her head for about a minute or so. And suddenly she saw in her third eye, mind's eye, inner eye, that there was a pair of, that an arm of this unseen person was moving out of her right shoulder. First the arm, first the head, one the legs. And so while she was viewing that scene in her third eye, inner eye, her mind's eye, on the other side of her body, another human being wearing the cloak of invisibility was now moving out of the left side of her shoulder in the same manner. First the arm coming out, then the head, then the shoulder, and the legs. And it looked to the avatar in her third eye as if there were two wings extending from both sides of her shoulders. When she told me that information at the time she did, I was extremely troubled because it meant for us that this was evidence that if two, not just one, but if two unseen human beings can occupy the body of a god without her having any knowledge that they were there, this meant that everyone on the planet today would then be in a state where their bodies can be occupied, invaded, and occupied by one of these criminals for as long as they choose to do so, and without any of these victims having any knowledge or awareness of this invasion of the most private and sacred space by people wearing cloaks of invisibility working for a government. Shortly after the avatar came to verify what her daughter, that she was being attacked by unseen people who kept her talking, kept her controlling her behavior, her thinking, her action for a number of months. Um, One day she said to me, Andraggon, there's someone inside you. I was surprised, but then realizing that she had told me before that about the two human beings who came out of each side of the shoulders, I accepted that as a fact. And I started walking around our home at 251 Scott Street, trying to keep these criminals from inhabiting my body by taking a metal uh, spoon, heavy metal spoon, and a metal bowl, and banging it around my head to try to create as much noise disturbance as I can to push any of these unseen criminals who was using my body as a Trojan horse to not only spy on my family, but to manipulate and control my thinking and behavior. So I asked the avatar how she knew that there was someone inside my body. And she told me this at least half a dozen different occasions during the fall of 2019. That one of your eyes had popped, and that was evidence that there were two beings inside your body. And in the process, it magnified and amplified the energy. So that caused the force and the intensity of the increased energy that was on your body to make your eye, one of your eyes pop. So pop. So what I used to do then, I even walked around inside our home at 251 Scott Street with a knife. I didn't a 12-inch knife we used to cut meat and stuff, cutting through the air, trying to intimidate and prevent these unseen criminals from remaining inside our home. Because when they come into home, especially um, the leader, the self-appointed ringleader of this gang of criminals, he comes into a home for a number of decades now, Donald J. Trump, and he attacks the avatar from the top of her head to the foot of her toes. He's attacked the cavities of her brain hundreds of times over the past 4 decades with an electronic substance that looks like an electronic knife that he plunges in and out of her head. After a number of decades, the god who was known as a verbal martial artist because she was so fluent and eloquent in understanding, explaining, and presenting any kind of issue that I brought to attention. This attack on the cavities of the brain by this unseen criminal, now in the White House as America's 45th president, caused the avatar's memory to become dislodged, to become blocked, wiped out. So what has happened as a result of this attack on the cavities of the brain of a God, the one who lived as Lord Jesus about 2,000 years ago, is that the lived experience that she's had all of her life have been stolen from her through these attacks on the cavities of the brain over the past 4 decades by Donald J. Trump. He's also used this technology to burn the sides, to destroy the follicles of the sides of her head, using me as a Trojan horse to comb, to brush her hair in the late 1980s for a period of time so intensely and aggressively that the avatar told me once when I was doing it, once or twice, Andraggon, you're burning my hair, the scalp of my hair by the way you were brushing it. And when she looked at me, she said, I looked as if I was not there, as if I was not in control of myself. At the time, I didn't know about cloaks of invisibility being used by these criminals to attack the avatar and the rest of her family. So the avatar is being attacked. In fact, when she was born, the day she came to the planet, one of these unseen criminals went into the maternity ward of a hospital that she was living inside of and walked up to where this god inside this newborn body of a female baby was staying, was located. And he put his left hand over her mouth or nostrils with intention of suffocating and stifling her to death. He knew that she was a divine being because he was able to see this glow, this golden light that was shining from the center of her forehead, her inner eye, her spiritual eye. And he also was able to see that she had a bunch of grapes that was that was grown or tattooed into her right shoulder, evidence of cosmic royalty. When he tried, when he put his hand over the mouth and nostril of this God inside the body of this baby girl, Lord Jesus back on the planet, one of her sister gods told her instantly, hold your breath and play dead. And this God in in the body of this divine baby girl did that so well and for so long that this unseen criminal assassin was convinced that he had taken the life of the God who of that baby when he left that hospital. However, he did not manage to take a mortal life, but over the course of the rest of her entire life, the avatar has had her mortal life taken from her at least 16 different times, according to a number of her sister gods and the information they gave to her husband, myself, Andraggon, over a number of years. The avatar has been attacked also inside her mouth by the same criminals, using different people to do it, like doctors and dentists. They Donald J. Trump, when he comes here, he's been throwing shards inside her eyes. In fact, one time he threw a shard in her eyes that caused her to bleed, and she looked at her daughter. Hmm? Oh, sorry. He stabbed the avatar inside one of her eyes with the shard from inside the fourth dimension, and blood was coming from her eyes. And she told Mahogany about it, and Mahogany saw it and recognized that her mother was bleeding. He's been attacking different parts of her body, trying to disable, dismantle, and destroy every part of the body of this sacred being who is here on the planet to finish the work that she started uh, thousands of years ago as Lord Krishna, as Lord Buddha, and now as Lord Jesus. He keeps attacking. He's been attacking the lower part of her body, the hip, causing her to be in extreme pain and causing her to walk in a leaning fashion as if she's a cripple. He keeps attacking her womb, her rectum, her joints, her heart, trying to kill the avatar for the 17th time. The gods, the members of the avatar's team, are known as the committee of gods. Every true God in existence is a member of this divine committee. There are billions of male gods and trillions of female gods who make up the membership of this divine committee. The eternal leader of the committee of gods is also known as the God of all gods, as the great goddess, the divine majesty, as living light, because she's the one who brought existence into being and beings into existence, and she did so at the same time thousands of trillions of years ago. The same supreme being is living today amongst the human race as the spiritual master and master teacher known as Avatar Galextra. The American government and the Canadian government and others who are working with these two rogue nations have been aware for a number of years now that the God of all gods is on the planet today, living as the spiritual master known as Avatar Galextra. And so they've been trying to kill every part of her body. They've been trying to destroy her human form, trying to push her back into the spiritual realms where every being return to, because we all come from the spiritual realms to live mortal lives on the surface of Lady Gaia, so that we can understand what it means to live as a member of any of the races of mortal beings: African, Asian, European, Caucasian, Native, Hispanic, all the nations and races on the planet. When we come to this planet from the spiritual realms, the true homeland of all of us, we come here inside our fourth dimension body, which weighs exactly 21 grams. Looks exactly like our physical body, except it has no substance or organic matter to it. We come here and we live as a man, a woman. We live as a member of all the races, all the cultures, so that we can know firsthand and learn firsthand what it means to live as a member of any race of people on the planet, any nationality. And in doing so, the intention of having immortals, living mortal lives, as the Avatar has taught me, is so that we can learn to appreciate, understand, respect, and celebrate the differences that we have as a race of human beings, a spectrum that we have, and different kinds of abilities and qualities that we express and experience as members of different races, genders, religions, cultures on the planet today. So the Avatar and myself are living as a homeless family in the city of Niagara Falls and blowing the whistle to sound the alarm so that our human sisters and brothers can start to connect the dots about what's being done to them today by the same group of people who have been attacking, terrorizing, and trying to destroy the Avatar's life and work, as well as members of her family. We are also in the process of seeking funding so that we can survive in this city and even get a place of our own until the governments of Canada and the US finally to the to meet agree to meet the decision made by the Committee of Gods that has imposed a fine on them for using the sacred technology which they stole from two of the Avatar's sister, from two scientists from the Avatar's birth country, Trinidad and Tobago, and weaponized it. Oh, they killed those two scientists shortly afterwards, who was given this technology telepathically by some of the Avatar's brother gods who created it an eternity ago to use it to save the life of Lady Gaia, one of her sister gods, known to you, the human race, for most of the trillions of years that human beings have lived on this planet as Mother Earth and Mother Nature. Because Lady Gaia was dying, fractured, and in the process of imploding from the hundreds of millions of pounds of bombs that were exploded across her planet-sized, her ancient, living on planet-sized body for over 7 consecutive days and nights by the 39 different nations who were fighting the war to end the wars, including the two atomic bombs called Little Boy and Fat Man that were exploded over the surface of her body on the two Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which instantly killed Nagasaki, which instantly killed. Okay, Nagasaki, which instantly killed a total of about 170 million human beings and caused millions more of them to become contaminated and uh, poisoned with inside their bodies that from the explosion of these atomic bombs that unfortunately Einstein gave the information to the American government. Correction, that Einstein founded my Einstein in his theory of relativity that he put out in 1905, which said that a huge explosion can be created from the smallest amount of energy. And that was used and developed into what eventually became atomic bombs. So Lady Gaia survived because of the work did by these two exemplary scientists from the country of Trinidad and Tobago. But they were murdered shortly afterwards by American agents who took this technology and gave it to the American military, who put it inside their Black Ops program and spent years studying, um, trying to find out how it works, and eventually learn to unlock a number of the vast fourth dimension capabilities that this healing technology that saved the life of Lady Gaia, so they can use it as a weapon from inside the fourth dimension, commit all kinds of crimes against human beings. These crimes include turning human beings into Manchurian candidates, which means that they can come into your home, place of work, place of worship, and they can cause you to do or say certain things that you would never do or say on your own, and cause you to commit any kind of crime that they decide to have you do. Or they can use this technology to turn you into a Trojan horse by entering your physical body through your ears, most likely, or even your mouth, any of the openings, and make you do and commit any kind of action, crimes in this case, that they want you to. So, as one of the Avatar's brother girls have told me, Lord Odin, a number of months ago, almost all of the serial killings and mass murders committed on the surface of this planet over the past 7 months have been done by people who have been used as Manchurian candidates and Trojan horses by the same criminals who are using this technology today to infect the bodies of tens of millions of human beings and killing over a million of you so far today. They amplify or magnify the emotions of people who are vulnerable, or people who have issues in their lives, and cause them to commit any kind of act that they are motivated or taught or trained to do through the kind of the different isms such as racism and sexism that people on this planet have been taught to embrace and practice, especially those who have come to see and view themselves as being superior to and better than all the other races on this planet today. Those who have come to see themselves as being members of the master race, or in America, they're called the white supremacists or the white nationalists. As the Avatars taught me over the years, the greatest, the root of all the problems that are plagued in this planet today comes from the belief taught to human beings that one group is superior to and better than the other gender, the other races, cultures, and even species on the planet today. And for thousands of years, every time that the Caucasian races, European races, have established their empires in modern society, they've sought to impose their false, misguided, and misleading sense of superiority and supremacy over other races. Currently, today on the planet, you are seeing a transformation taking place as the Avatar has taught that today, across planet Earth, all the problems and sufferings and pain that are at the roots and causes of the all the different injustices and inequalities plaguing the human race for centuries now, they're being pulled up and pushed to the surface by people who are actually intentionally trying to bring out the worst of all the qualities that have been nurtured and programmed and conditioned inside the hearts and minds of human beings. Qualities such as the belief that one race is superior to another, such as one gender is superior to another. All these qualities, harmful qualities that have been buried and have been used to create this oppressive, desecrating, destructive, diminishing way of life on Mother Earth's surface. They're now being pulled to the surface, and human beings are now starting to become awakened, aware, and determined to have these problems looked at. As people of our race have not been saying, we're sick and tired of being sick and tired of being treated as if we are people who should be walked over, pushed around, stepped on, and left behind, as if we are not fully humans. Well, as the Avatar has taught me, the founding ancestors of the human race is a race of female giantesses, female gods, known as the amazing and legendary hermaphrodites. This race of female gods, 10 feet tall or more, with abilities that are just incomparable and inconceivable to human beings today. They lived on the surface of Lady Gaia for trillions of years, as Lady Gaia told me in one of the interviews that in one interview that she did on our broadcast, and you with me, because the Avatar is also one of the most also one of the most finely tuned natural human mediums on the planet today. And Lady Gaia, in that appearance on a broadcast.
Just speak about the stuff that is happening. Guys, I mean,
Okay, so I'm giving them.
That's not what we want.
Okay.
We want to have people become aware of. I mean,
yeah. Okay, so the evidence has to focus on what's being done to this family, and I agree. Although I did speak in length about what Trump, especially, is doing to you when he comes into a home unseen and attacks you in different parts of your body while you're sleeping, while you're awake, and what he did to our daughter for a number of months or years inside our home at 51 Scott Street by using her body as a Manchurian candidate or a Trojan horse, invading her body, raping her in different physically, and also using this technology to electronically rape her body, cause her to gain over 100 pounds in less than 6 months or so, cause her to mismanage her life inside her home, inside her bedroom, cause her to start viewing and treating us as if we are people who are not her parents, as if we're evil people, as she told us, causing her to go out late at night, oftentimes without being properly dressed, at least as far as footwear is concerned, and staying out for hours, a number of nights during the fall of 2019, and causing her daughter to end up being admitted to the mental health unit of the St. Catherine's General Hospital after she was seen by
Trump told them things that are not she was doing because he was using that machine to
okay
that.
because of this our daughter being terrorized and traumatized with this technology, she ended up becoming someone who was not in control of her own thinking and behavior, and she ended up inside the one of the send her there. Help. Well, actually, we both agreed that she should go there because he was using that machine to control her. So at the time, tell people, give people at the time, like that. At the time, the Avatar's over there talking, and I'm here. At the time, she was standing on the sidewalk when we were staying in this shelter called Southwest Shelter in St. Catharines, and she was looking as if she was going to walk into the streets, which she did in the past at Scott Street, stood in the middle of the street, and we called to her, Marley, get out of the road, you're going to get killed. And it was as if she didn't hear me because she was being controlled as a Nigerian candidate or the Trojan horse by the people who are now in killing many of you on a daily basis across the planet. So our daughter ended up inside inside the unit of St. Catherine General Hospital, and she was held there for from November to April. We had her removed from there after we managed to convince her social worker and the team responsible for looking after her mental health that she should return to live with her family because she's not schizophrenic as they diagnosed her to be, but instead she was being controlled. Her body and mind was being controlled by Donald Trump, who constantly made her talk to him throughout the day and night, as well as others who came from the same group of made up of thousands of these unseen government criminals. They kept our daughter behaving and living as if she was not in control of her own life, which she wasn't, because they invaded and took over her mind and body and caused her to end up being viewed as someone with schizophrenic qualities by the medical staff at the hospital. But we've told them too that she is not schizophrenic. What is true is that this technology is was used to control her behavior and mind by people who would be inside her body talking to us about her, asking us questions about her, and behaving as if they are from different places, like different news stations. They make up all kinds of stories, narratives, while being inside the body of your daughter, inside your home, for months and months. So she's back home since April, has gained a lot of weight, traumatized, and is still forced to go and get a needle once a month because they say that if she doesn't get needle once a month, they could have her picked up by law enforcement and taken to the hospital to be reassessed to make sure that she is in a state where she can be out on her own without supervision from their medical staff. We're going to fight this position that they have stated and decide that they have a right to control our daughter's lives by making her take their monthly injection under the diagnosis, misdiagnosis that she is schizophrenic. She's not. She's now recuperating and she's now regaining control of her mind and body, working out, uh, and slowly starting to recover from this traumatizing and devastating terrorization that has been done to her for a number of months, especially last year by Donald J. Trump and company. My family and myself are asking each of you to make the time, because now actually what we found out too is this international health crisis that has been created intentionally by the criminals using this technology is actually it's shut down life on this planet drastically, completely, and suddenly in a way that human beings are now living in something called a new normal, where they are living in a world where everything is uncertain, terrifying, fearful, traumatizing, and they're wondering when they will be able to stop wearing these masks or face guards and keeping 6 feet or more between themselves or continuously sanitizing their hands because of the narrative given to them by the scientists and science that there is an unseen infectious contagious virus called COVID-19 that is spreading across the planet and infecting them inside any place where they gather, even inside their homes, hospital, workplaces, and more. We are sounding the alarm and asking our human family members to um, take steps to bring this information to the online media and take this story viral about this deceptive and deceitful narrative being used to control their lives and turn them into what same criminals are intending to make them become pawns and puppets in the future in a world where the vast majority of human beings are supposed to be depopulated or have their lives terminated from the planet, which, according to thousands of scientists, is not overcrowded, running out of resources, and running out of different kinds of things needed for the human race to survive without having to starve, without having to fight each other for different kinds of things they need to survive as a human being. So, on this note, I'm going to end this broadcast and thank you for listening. We hope that you will also take part in supporting this family while we wait for our lives to be changed for the better by assisting us through this GoFundMe program that we're going to join very soon so that we can be able to survive as a homeless family of two whistleblowers who are taking steps, sounding the alarm, and issuing a wake up call so that human beings can start to demand that these deceptive and deceitful things being done to them be examined, looked at, spoken about, and stopped, and have the governments come to recognize that they are being coerced and co-opted by the science and scientists that's with information that's misleading and incorrect, to spend trillions of dollars on different types of needs and different types of things, keeping the economy afloat, keeping human beings from starving, and keeping the society from falling into another second global depression. Um, Thank you for listening to this broadcast on behalf of myself and my wife, Avatar Galextra. Um, have a good day, and as the Avatar would say, um, make your life a living prayer in all that you say and do, and showers of blessings will always fall upon you and your loved ones, if not in this lifetime, correction, not only in this lifetime, but in others to come. good night and goodbye.